Hi, my name is Monte Tilgner with the Iowa High School Athletic Association. This will be our week 5 training video from plays from last week in the state of Iowa. Got 11 plays to look at. This first one, we're going to clarify intentional grounding. Had a play last week and got a call from an official who thought that it was not intentional grounding on last week's play because the reason why the quarterback didn't get the ball in the area of a receiver was because he got hit. And I want to clarify when that contact occurs and how that determines what you need to think about for intentional grounding. So, a further explanation on that. So, it really boils down to is when he gets hit by the defender. So, if you can see on this play, he starts to get hit by the defender before his arm starts going forward. So here's the philosophy behind this, and this is through all levels of football. If the defense contacts the quarterback before he starts his forward passing motion, then all the responsibility on getting that ball either to the line of scrimmage if he's outside the free blocking zone, or getting it to in the vicinity of a receiver if he's in the free blocking zone, is on the passer. So in this case, since he is getting contacted by a defender before his arm is coming forward, he is responsible for getting that ball to to a receiver in that vicinity. Remember, that's 5 yards if they're not coming back, 7 yards if they're coming back towards the ball. So let's go forward and see where this ball hits. The ball hits the ground right here. This is our nearest receiver. So this would be intentional grounding. Remember, this is a true call. So you're going to see some communication by this official up here with the referee as we continue going forward here. Our referee has a good feel that this is intentional grounding. You can see he's coming in already thinking, and now he moves even quicker to that spot. And that's important that we go to the spot of that pass because we know that we're going to go 5 yards from that spot with a loss of down if we have intentional grounding. So we got an incomplete pass signal by the line judge here. Up here, the headline judge is already on the 0-2-0, and he's already indicating that there's no receiver in the area. Number 2 is coming back all the way now from there. But what we really want to do, remember, is we don't want to use the 0-2-0 in this case. What we want is this official or this official coming to our referee and extra arrow, coming to our referee and telling him face to face that ball either did not cross the line of scrimmage or that ball is not in the area of a receiver. And then the second part is on the referee. The referee already has a feeling that this is probably going to be intentional grounding, but he needs to make that second judgment of, was he still inside the free blocking zone, and was he under duress? And obviously he was in this case. So you see the flag come out here in just a second by our referee. He's confirming that we have no receiver in the area, and here comes our flag to our spot, and it's important that we get that flag to the spot, and we're going to go 5 yards from there with the loss of down. So just remember, it all depends when that motion starts. So to confirm, if the defender contacts the passer before his arm starts going forward, the responsibility is on the passer to get the ball into that area. If the passer has started his throwing motion forward, so his arm is going forward, and then he gets hit, then you would not have intentional grounding on the same ball fluttering basically nowhere. And in that case, again, we want to use our field mic and we want to make an announcement so everyone understands. So that announcement would be, there's no foul for intentional grounding. The passer's arm was coming forward when he was contacted, and that's why the ball did not get into the area of an eligible receiver. No foul for intentional grounding. Third down. All right. That's the announcement we want to make. That explains it to everybody. If we don't have a field mic, then we're going to have to, get a hold of that defensive coach and make that explanation to him so he understands it. But with a field mic, we want everyone to know why it is no foul. So hopefully that makes sense. And that is a philosophy again for all levels of football. Okay, this next one, a great example of a horse collar tackle here. And remember, it's the nameplate or that collar. And what we're really looking for is what we see right here. We don't have to have this, but when we see this buckling of the legs that we see here on this runner right there, okay, that head going back, but especially the buckling of the legs right there, that's what makes this a foul. And you can see our flag comes in here from not only our line judge, but from our back judge as well. And again, penalty enforcement on this, what do we have? It's a foul by the team not in possession. So the basic spot is going to be the end of the run, and we're going to tack 15 yards on. So if the end of the run on this play was, let's just say, the 43-yard line, then we're going to go from position 1 from the 43, 15 yards up to the 20. Let's see, let's make sure we get this right. 5, 10, 15 yards, and we're going to snap this ball here. And if we were in bounds, we would be on the ready for play. If he would have been ruled out of bounds, we would be on the snap. And I would say that's when we would want to rule in bounds, and we would go on the ready for play. Next one here, we've got correctly called a false start. I want to be perfectly clear on this. Okay, we're going to have a running back who in this case is going to miss the snap count and take kind of a little step forward, and that's always going to be a false start. Okay, he's simulating the start of the play. He's missing the snap count. He screwed up. It's not one where you can say, oh, he can reset and make it where it's not a foul, or the coach can say that. Most coaches understand this now. They might argue it a little bit because they don't want that, but they really know that that's the difference. And so if the coach doesn't understand it, just say, Coach, it's a false start when they miss the snap count, and because they're simulating the start of the play. He's not going into motion and resetting. That's not what's happening here. And so let's just look at it here. He falls out of his stance. This is an easier one. What we see sometimes, that's 100% a false start. We got a reaction by the defense, which just brings attention to it. It doesn't mean it's going to be on the offense, but this is 100% a foul and correctly called, by our referee, because that's a back. You can see our flag right here. So that's one we want to make a false start. If we get those guys who are in a 2-point stance and they're just leaning forward, even a 3-point stance and leaning forward, if it's just a slight lean that continues to the snap, then let that go and warn, and make sure you tell the opposing coach if he's complaining, hey, we're not going to nitpick this. He's leaning. I talked to him about it, but we're going to be consistent and call that the same both ways. If they take a step forward with either foot, we got to make it a false start. We can't not have that be a foul though. So properly called on this play, false start. All right, this is perfect mechanics when we're inside the 10, and even more difficult when we have the line to gain in between us and the goal line. So we have a 4th down play. Remember, 3rd down flow, 4th down go. So on 3rd down, we're going to flow that line to gain. 4th down, we're going to go to that line to gain. In this case, we've got 2 money lines. The first money line is the line to gain. So we're going to take a couple steps, and we're going to be right here. We're going to hesitate for a second at that line to gain. But as soon as we know that line to gain is going to be broken, either by a runner or in this case, he sees that a pass is going to happen, then he immediately goes to the second money line, which is the goal line pylon. So let me get those arrows out of the way. Let's watch the movement by our headline judge up here. This is absolutely perfect. Goes there, stops, and now he sees, passes in the air going to my guy on the fade. He goes there to the goal line pylon, and he sees it, signals touchdown. Remember, as I go forward here, it looks like he's doing a good job too of watching these players. We don't want to square up to the goal line and be signaling in here to the field of play. These are the guys that have a lot of emotion right now. If this guy would spike the ball, if he would do a throat slash, if he would toss the ball at this guy, taunt him in some way, then we want to foul. So we want to make sure that we're watching the action of the players on the field and not turn into the middle of the field. Nobody has to turn to the middle of the field to signal touchdown, again, except the referee after a field goal or a try. This is a good example of proper kickoff mechanics leading to a good offensive hold call on the return here. So you can see our umpire is going to do what he's supposed to, which is diagonal into the field of play. Our back judge is also going to be coming into here. Our back judge does get a feel for maybe a potential return and starts retreating towards the goal line, which we want him to do if he thinks that it possibly could have a long return. But let's take a look. We can see they're both starting to come into the field, and our hold is going to be right here at the 25-yard line. So our umpire is watching the action right here with these players. He's focused on this one. This is our first engagement. And if we watch here, this is a nice takedown hold by this player in white. Right here, there's our grab and restrict. He's already dipped the shoulder, and he continues to pull him all the way down to the ground, spinning him down to the ground. You can see our umpire's flag coming in right there. There it goes. There's our umpire coming in the field, and there is his flag. Remember, we need to now process if we're going to have to move our flag or not. So what we need to do is know, okay, my flag is 2 yards short of where the foul occurred. We don't have to think yard lines yet. Just think my flag is 2 yards short of where the foul occurred. And now we need to see where this run occurs because it was during a run. So in this case, he ends up going past the spot of the foul. So we're going to enforce this from the spot of the foul, which means when all said and done, we're going to have to go get our flag and we're going to have to move it back to the 25-yard line. We're going to go into position 1, and our announcement to the crew is going to be during the return, holding return team number 30. We're going to enforce this half the distance from the spot of the foul, and I am moving my flag. Move the flag to the 25, go to position 1. We're going to go from the 25 back to the 12.5-yard line, and we know that we're going to be on the snap because we had a legal kick play. So very good mechanics led to an outstanding call by our umpire on this play. 2 plays in a row here, 2-play vignette, as Steve Shaw says on our college tapes. So both of these are illegal block below the waist by the defense. And I'm not 100% sure if we got these or not on the field. I hope we did. But let's just talk about it and talk about who should see this. So again, what we're looking at, maybe you saw it, but we'll go back. And I want to point this out. I'm seeing a lot more proper mechanics like we're talking about. This play gets bumped outside the tight end. So remember, when that play starts going outside the tight end, more towards the sideline, if it's a first or second down play, we want our headline judge and our line judge to back up. So he backed up. He's 2-3 yards in that offensive backfield, and now that allows him to have a better view. And he should see this block below the waist. The referee 100% should. This is a pulling lineman that actually gets blocked low by a little defensive back, which is what usually happens. So you can see this defensive back's going to come up, and he's going to see this big pulling lineman, number 71 or 77, and he's going to decide he doesn't want any part of 71, so he's going to go low, okay? And remember, we don't nitpick this. If he's intending to go low, we don't split hairs by if it's at the waist or below the waist. If he's intending to go low, which obviously he is here, then we have an illegal block below the waist. And we know our rules. There's no way that from where he came from, he could block below the waist. This is not immediate. He was not on the line of scrimmage inside the free blocking zone anyway. And we have a pulling guard or tackle as well. So 100% foul. Should be seen by a referee for sure because that pulling lineman takes him right to that block, and really should be seen by our line of scrimmage official because you have the running back who is free of foul. So since we have him free of foul, we can focus on the point of attack block, which is going to be right there. And then talking about penalty enforcement here, again, we have a gain on the play, and we have a foul by the team not in possession. So our basic spot on a run, the that ends beyond the previous spot is the end of the run. It's a foul by the team not in possession. Therefore, we always enforce that from the basic spot. So we're going to go from the end of the run, tack on 15 yards. So we're going from the 33 to the 43, 48 yard line. And this is going to be from the end of the run. So it looks like we're at position 3 probably. So we're going to be snapping from position 3. And we had a running play that ended in bounds. So we would be on the ready for play. This is the same player, same result, illegal block below the waist. Hopefully he doesn't do this more than twice. If so, we're probably not getting it called, because I guarantee you if we call it the first time, and especially if he gets called for a second, block below the waist foul, that his coach is going to make sure that either one, he's not in the game anymore, or two, he understands he can't go low on that lineman. So in this case, great hustle by our back judge here getting to the goal line. And he does, oops, I went a little too far. Nice job of checking with our H. And now we want to get back to our runner and make sure he doesn't do anything, with taunting or stupid with the football. And then again, our penalty enforcement. This is a foul by the non-scoring team. So our basic spot is going to be the end of the run. That is, we had a touchdown. So it's by the non-scoring team. So we can enforce that half the distance on the try or 15 yards on the succeeding kickoff. Usually they want it on the kickoff, but you always want to give a quick check. A great example of a very hard hit against a defenseless receiver that is not a foul. This is probably the best example I've seen this year. So let's just take a look. Big hit, really big hit here on this player. Okay, and that is not a foul. Why is it not a foul? If we go back and take a look, because on the hit, he wraps up and takes him down. So when we wrap up, that's one of our criteria for having this not be a foul. This is a big hit, okay? And incomplete pass, wipe it out. That's great. Remember, with this rule to not be a foul, we need to either one, be wrapping up, or we need to be making a bona fide attempt to, intercept that pass, and we have that incidental contact to have those not be a foul. And this, our most common one, is that wrap-up tackle. So great example to show your players, coaches, that you can make a really big hit on a kid. All you got to do is follow through with wrapping up, and you will not have a foul on the play. On this one, again, what do we do when we have conflicting signals? So what we're going to have here is we're going to have a pass completed, and again, we want to take a look here. Remember this forward-backward pass. Remember, by the book, our line judge down here is primary for forward-backward unless he has trips to his side. Well, guess what? He's got trips or more, in this case quads, to his side. So in that case, our headline judge is primary. It doesn't mean they both can have an opinion. But let's see what we get for a point here, because this one is definitely, it's released from the 30-yard line, and this ball is definitely going backward initially. That's all it takes. And I don't see a punch back. I would like to see a punch back by one, if not both of these officials. But as we continue here, we've got a ball that comes out, and you can see we've got this official signaling that we've got him down. But if you take a look, check out our back judge, and he already threw it. Watch our back judge now on this one. Ball comes out. Boom, there goes his beanbag, and he thinks it's a fumble, and our line judge has him down. So it's just going to be hard to sell this to a coaches if we don't communicate, what we have. So get together and talk about it, and make sure we piece it all together. If the back judge is like, I saw that ball come out when he got contacted, there was no way he was down. And our line judge is like, I did have some bodies in my way, so I'm not sure. Then we go with fumble. But if we're in doubt, we want to have him down. So if neither one of them is 100% sure, then we're just going to go with down. Next play here, we've got a clean hands principle. So making sure we understand what that means. Second thing is the philosophy of of when we do not throw for a hold or block in the back. And that is when that hold or block in the back takes the player into the runner making, and he makes that tackle at the same, or the end of the play is, the play's ending at about the same time. So let's take a look at this one. We're actually going to have two potential block in the backs on this play. So here, first of all, we've got an interception. And again, after the interception, what we have is the original defense now has the team in possession. So they got the ball legally before they committed any foul. So even if they foul now, they will get to keep the ball after their penalty is enforced. That's called the clean hands principle. And this is now a running play, just like any other running play. It's just a running play. So end of the run is our basic spot. We have, look in here, we have this blue team player now in chase mode, high alert for a block in the back. And if you watch, we're going to get exactly that. We're going to get a push in the back right there, which sends him right, where he can't make a play on that runner. Perfect, great job by our umpire of seeing that. He's one who probably should be looking at that and see that. We do actually have a flag come in by our back judge as well. So that's outstanding to have two flags on that block in the back. And now let's look at our flags. We got one at the 32. We got one at the 19. And where did the block occur? It occurred at about the 29-yard line. So again, we want to know, do we have to move these flags when we're all said and done? Well, our runner is now gets tackled at the 24. So our end of the run is the basic spot. The foul was by the team in possession in advance of that. So we're going to enforce this from the end of the run. Now let's see our second potential foul, and that is right here. Okay, again, chase mode, hands out. He's going to block this guy in the back, and he's going to do it at about the same time this guy's going down. So let's watch. Boom, there's the block in the back, sends that guy to the ground. When it happens, the runner is going down. That's one we would not need to flag. All right, per philosophy, we do not flag that because of the timing of when it occurred. But we already talked about the enforcement. There's our back judge showing his second flag. Oh, that's it. Great. So kept it under 25 minutes. Awesome. Great plays. Great plays. Several sent in by coaches, several sent in by other officials, and a couple that Jared and I found. So keep working hard. Everything's ramping up as we get closer to playoff time. So keep having great pre-games and focus on those little details, and go back to the basics with your pre-snap routine and things. Don't fall into a mid-season slump. Keep working hard and keep improving, and we'll talk to you again next week.